I mean, basically, it has absolutely no right being this good. There's a carbon fibre trail bike from a tiny Yorkshire family company that'll match anything from the biggest and most well-financed brands in the world. My name's Guy Kesteven. I've been a professional biking kit tester for nearly 25 years, and today I'm sat on my Pace telling you why I love it. So, my Pace RC295, well, I say mine, Pace have lent me the frame to build up as a project bike at the start of lockdown. So basically, this is just a very quick long-term catch-up, and I guess you want to know what's gone wrong with it. Very quickly, nothing. I had to bleed the seat post recently. The reverb had done the bouncy thing, but just to press the valve that you now get in the top of these reverb scales, and it was all sorted in a matter of minutes. There's a bit of polishing gone on these GX cranks, but it's nowhere near as bad as it would have been with Shimano, because my SLX are proper bright now. You can see I actually pulled the little bumper strip that was on the outside to protect the carbon against my heel, because if you watch the early videos, I was constantly hitting it with my heel, so I pulled it off and hoped that there wouldn't be any more scuff damage, and there hasn't. I mean, there's a bit of rubbing up there on that sticker and a bit from there where I've been wearing it in waterproof trousers, that kind of caper, but this bike has had so much hammer. It really has. I mean, I've been lending it out to mates most of the year just because I've been that impressed with it. I was like, you've got to try this. This is amazing. This is every bit as good as like bikes from, you know, YT Izzo I've ridden, the Spectral 29 I've just ridden, Hightower, Cotic Jet, Specialized Evo, Stump Jumper, Epic Evo. It just crosses so many boundaries, because built up like this with these DT Swiss XMC 1200 wheels, forecaster front, Recon Race rear, it's only 12.9 kilos. What else do you need to know? I still wish they'd done the machining on the outside of these linkages, because I think these look a bit blunt. And I think if they'd done a little bit of machining on the outside, it would have looked like an old Pace. Because obviously Pace have been producing bikes since 1989, a properly historically storied Yorkshire firm. But I've managed to bring themselves right up to date with this bike, and with their steel hardtails as well. What else? It's been flawless. I mean, I bent the rear hanger. You can see there's some scuff marks on the rear mech, so I had to bend it back, but since then the indexing has been absolutely spot on. I had zero problem with the Guide Ultimate brakes. Even the original ODI grips are a bit soft, they're getting a bit chewed up. These Bjorn Bikes recycled grips, but they're still working. G2 Ultimate brakes, they've been fine. Crud catch obviously for filming, that's been brilliant. Like I say, the new I've been through loads and loads of different tyres and wheel sets. I mean, it's normally been running the Hunts, which again have been absolutely flawless. To be honest, I kind of pushed Edgin and Sophie onto using Hunts rather than the Hopes, because they were going to fit Hopes, which are just mortifyingly heavy. So really glad they went for Hunts, and that's now the standard build option. But they do all sorts of frame only, rolling chassis and complete builds, and this is basically the GX build. So what else? SDG saddle has been super comfortable. It's light. Steel's worn a bit away there. There's a bit of rust on that, but you know, apart from that, polished it up. It's running PT sealant, PT's lube. That's kept everything sweet. I've had no problem with that offset bushing on the top there. It's got a little carbon belly pan. No, it's been hammered. It's been properly ridden like a rental, and loved it. Lapped it up. Little tiny Pace stem, 32 more reach. To make the most of that 64-degree head angle, and the cursed Gypsy Cop top cap, sent in by a jeweller from Gateshead, I think it was, to Maximum Mountain Bike in about 1999 when I was editor on it. And that's what's happening as well. Oh, and I'm running disco brake pads at the moment, just to see how they go, rather than the standard SRAM, just as part of testing. So yeah, it's been a brilliant test rig, but to be honest, I'm just chatting about it stood still now, so let's jump on it and take it for a spin, and I'll remind you and remind myself in the process why I bloody loved it. What's really shone out over the time I've been riding it, and particularly kind of popped last weekend, is just how versatile it is in terms of how you can build it up. I mean, after all the lightweight bikes I've been riding over Christmas, I moved it onto a lighter mix of Maxxis and super light DT Swiss wheels, and it absolutely flies. I mean, it's only 100 grams heavier from the YT Ezo Pro race I've just tested. But slacker geometry, more travel. Just huge kudos to Pace. Because apart from the wheels, this is pretty much stock GX build with the Pike Ultimate, Deluxe Ultimate on the back, and that SRAM Analog GX, and then their own stem, big old Trivative descendant bars to make the most of that steering precision and those progressive angles. But yeah, it's such an efficient pedalling bike. I'm loving it with this lighter wheel spec on, especially as I'm riding to a lot of my playgrounds at the moment, rather than getting in the van just to get the most out of my daily lockdown exercise. And because it's so precise and the handling's so good, it's perfectly happy for wringing maximum control out of this Forecaster front and a recon race on the rear, even in the snow. It just goes to show you that it's losing very little in terms of speed and efficiency under power, even to bikes like that Merida 96 I've had. And yet, dress it up, bigger tyres, big. I mean, even with these two tyres and wheels, loads more control. And then get it on chunkier rubber, because it has been my sort of tyre test bed when I've had it, when it's not been lent out, for all the aggressive mid-size 29 rubber I've had through, and it loves that. Just the level of control I've got with this front end and this frame is just so confidence inspiring. Took the safety way today, not going to send it, don't want to get it sideways and land on somebody's Sunday dog walk coming off Fat Rascal. But if you look at the way it just powers through frozen rooty sections like that, and having the precision to be able to pilot a proper racing semi-slick through conditions like this, I'll do. Thanks very much. With real speed and flair, is just such. Cheers. Hey, no fella. Sorry. A kind of signature hallmark of the way this bike rides. Just the authority, the precision it gives you riding. And obviously, being a pro tester means you're hypercritical of any essence of a bike that doesn't seem to be helping you out. I mean, that's part of the job, but that can be really devastating on rides, because if you don't think the bike's on your side, my head caves in really quickly. It's pathetic. But this Pace has never given me that feeling, even on, you know, whether it's climbing I was asking for it then, but whether it's techie climbing, whether it's just fast tempo pedaling, you know, or flat out enduro blasting, it's always felt like a real advantage. You know, it feels like a cheetah bike every time I jump on it, especially with this wheel spec. Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you. Yeah, I've always referred to these wheels as my defibrillator setup for putting life into any bike, but when you put them into a bike that's already outstanding, these are absolutely, combination is just brilliant. Just the agility and responsiveness without any loss of that trademark precision and poise just barrel straight down, everything in total control. Yes, Pace. It takes him a while to gestate a bike, but oh heck, when Adrian does it, he gets it damn right. Can't wait to ride the new long travel e-bike he's cooked up. You know, all that bike experience, all that enduro motorbike experience coming together. Monster battery, monster power. Woo! Oh, misjudged the gear there. You think I'd get that right a number of times I've ridden that, but you know, it's not had an easy life in terms of me jumping back on it last weekend, because the bikes I've been riding recently have been proper benchmarkers, you know. YT, Izzo, Canyon's new Spectral 29, proper high control benchmark bikes. Happening. But so, you know, I had a lot to live up to in terms of control, but unbelievably how well this acquitted itself straight away. And I have no qualms about boxing all those other bikes up after testing and carrying on, arriving this absolutely flat out. And that is just remarkable for a, you know, basically family brand. Well, no, it's absolutely a family brand from Yorkshire. But their experience and Adrian's passion and precision for getting things right. Whoop. I'll go left. It's just absolutely inspiring. And that's exactly what this bike is. Totally inspiring. Whether you're pressing on the pedals, trying to put the hit on your mates on a Thursday night, or throwing it into super techy, rocky enduro descent. This Pace just absolutely loves it. All right, and the result, I still absolutely love it back. So, here you go, folks. Pace RC295. Like I say, pretty much GX Eagle spec as standard. All I've done is pimp the wheels very recently. And even when it was running on the original Hunts, it's been absolutely spot on. Cannot recommend this bike highly enough if you're looking for something really light, efficient, but seriously capable. And it's a bit of a cold-blooded killer. It's nowhere near as well, you know, I'm sure people are going to be asking about the Cotic, and I'll do a roundup on the Cotic long term as well, because that's a much kind of warmer, more playful bike. This is a proper, you know, I've always called it my carbon trail assassin, and it still is. It's just so precise and clean, and you know, but yeah, it's just brilliant that small firms like Cotic, like Pace, I've got a Forbidden Druid I'm going to be riding shortly, you know, they're still competing just with ingenuity and being small and agile as a company and just experience. They're still capable of matching the biggest brands and giving some really characterful individual solutions to superb all-round trail riding. So, thanks for watching. Thanks to Pace for continuing to let me have the bike. Thanks for SRAM for all the build-up kit that went onto it. Thanks to Crud XL for the fender that kept my lens clean, even though it's been a bit icy and splattery today. Thanks to PT for the solution, the lube. Thanks to Gore for the kit, Smith for the helmet, Red Bull for specs, Sparts for the graveler boots, which work brilliantly, or for mountain biking as well. I'll do a full review of them coming up shortly. Oh, and 100% for the gloves. Thanks to my Patreon supporters who pledge a small amount every month for the upkeep of the channel.
They really help out with making videos like this, the unsponsored ones, possible, you know, allow me to spend a bit of time on them. But thanks for subscribing, thanks for clicking for notifications. Give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Stay tuned for a Cotic long-termer coming up soon, like I say. Hopefully there's videos on the YT Izzo, the Canyon Spectral, the Forbidden Druid and the Trek Slash. But the fact that this bike, this little Yorkshire brand, are right up there in terms of performance and competitive spec and even pricing with this RC295 is just remarkable. So figured they deserve some credit after several months riding them, and there'll be a very interesting upgrade setup coming on this bike. Nothing wrong with the present setup, but there's something really fancy coming its way. So thanks for your time. I've been Guy Kesteven on GuyKesTV, talking about the Pace RC295 long-termer.